Joining me now to discuss more about the project is the director of the Susan B. Anthony Center, Nora Bredes, in Rochester this evening. Thank you so much for your time, Nora.
Hello, Caitlin.
Wanted to speak to you about the project. I understand it's really been a labor of love here, going on about 1 year in the making.
1 year in the making, but a lot of years in the imagination. Since I came to the Anthony Center about 10 or 11 years ago, I've discovered again for myself how many wonderful leaders, women leaders we have in New York State. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, Matilda Jocelyn Gage, and then moving forward, women like Gloria Steinem and Bella Abzug, Shirley Chisholm. So I knew that we had a slew of national and international leaders. And what I wasn't as aware of is that the first women who broke political ground in New York State, who ran for office for the state assembly or state senate in their cities, in their towns and villages, were also political pioneers, but we know virtually nothing about them. Sure, we know Hillary Clinton is the first woman from New York State to serve in the U.S. Senate, but do we know that Ida Samus from Huntington, Long Island, was the first Republican woman to serve in the state assembly in 1918, along with Mary Lilly, who was elected from New York City as a Democrat? These histories can be lost, and because we're still seeing first women come on board, begin political careers in New York State, because only last year we had the first woman mayor of the city of Syracuse, Stephanie Miner. We thought it was time to capture the histories, the life stories, the reflections of many of these women before they're lost to us. So we gathered them all together. It's a work in progress, still gathering the names and stories of these women together and putting them on our website at the University of Rochester.
Well, there certainly are a number of rich histories there. Going through all of the different stories, was there something that really stuck out to you, a favorite that you have?
I do. I myself served in the Suffolk County Legislature on Long Island and know how hard it is to make a difference in what has been really a traditionally male field, politics and government. So when I read about Ida Samus, who was elected, as I said, from Long Island in 1918, it struck me that she had a really interesting take on politics. First, she ran a primary against an entrenched Republican. She was more from the progressive Teddy Roosevelt wing of the Republican Party. And when she got to the state assembly, she was issued, as I guess all members were, but she was the first woman, a tobacco spittoon, a place to, expel tobacco juice, which I guess was a habit at the state assembly. And she took one look at it, and it was tarnished and old and probably smelly. And she polished it up, she cleaned it out, she put flowers on it, and used it as a vase for her desk. And it just struck me as being a terrific metaphor for what women tend to do when we bring the lives, the experience, the tastes, the aesthetics of women to bear in politics and government. Both the culture and the issues we deal with tend to change.
That's really a fantastic story. But going forward, what do you think is so important about having more women in government? Some of the women running for the state senate right now, which I might mention is only 10 out of 62 serving female.
Right.
Why do you think it's important to get more women in there?
Well, I mean, it's sort of stunning, right? So we've had the vote for 90 years, but we know from a survey we do at the Anthony Center, we're still, forget the state senate, that's actually a problem as well. But even if you go to local governments, we're still only 17% of our county legislatures across the state. And that's been that way since about 2004. So when you dig deeper and you try to figure out why is it, do women not see politics as a way to bring constructive change? Why are they more drawn to not-for-profit work, to social service work? When the early women, like Mary Lilly, who was involved in social service, saw politics as a way to reform child labor, for instance. Why don't we see that anymore? Politics is a rough and tumble business. It requires a kind of ambition for self and aggression that I think probably culturally women are less comfortable with than men. So I think that by reflecting on the stories of these women who used politics to bring about constructive reform, from Mary Lilly and Ida Samus to Bella Abzug and Shirley Chisholm, to the women who we're electing today, we can see that politics can be a force, not just about corruption and seediness, but a force for good. And if we can elect more women in office, it's not going to be magic, and it doesn't always happen, and women have, same kind of problems as men do. And the culture also will influence, the political culture will influence who serves. But women tend to bring the issues that they concern their lives to bear in government. So since women have been elected in greater number, we see changes in domestic violence policy. We see child support enforcement seriously attended to by local and state and federal governments. We see new work on the causes of breast cancer and other reproductive cancers. And that's all because women's experiences, which were left out of the work of government because we weren't there, are now part of the everyday work of the bodies in which we serve.
Thank you so much, Nora, for your time. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but we'll encourage everyone to check out the website. Really is an incredible project, and thanks so much again for joining us.
Thank you.